All right, this is G Checker. I haven't really done one of these response videos in a while, and a couple weeks ago, I think it was maybe 2 Thursdays ago, I was on Clubhouse. I just recently started using Clubhouse. I think I first got introduced to Clubhouse last summer, and I hadn't really gotten into it until a couple weeks ago, and and well, probably a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. But I would only browse once or twice, and up until like maybe 2 weeks ago, I started, kind of perusing it a little more than I had been, and I've always heard about Josh from ABT, and I just never wanted to call in Sal shows and deal with that type of platform, just because I want to be able to speak without a filter. And this conversation pretty much filtered me, but I think I was able to get my point across like I wanted to. Even though Josh was trying to be what you would consider slippery as a serpent. You know what I mean? He was trying to be slippery, and that just lets me know, the way this conversation went, that he's not really about, accepting the truth. He learned a certain way, and he wants to stick to that way that he learned. And he feels like what he learned is just that, and it can't be changed. And sometimes you learn wrong, and that's why I called in, not as a teacher, but as a corrector, because I'm not a teacher. I don't have time for curriculums and, coming up with assignments and lessons and, just, having presentations and all of that stuff. I don't have time for that. I'm a busy man. I work, I got my own stuff going on, and, I just really don't have time, to be a teacher, a debater. I got time for impromptu conversations whenever I have the time, and this is one of the times that I had an impromptu conversation, and I think Josh wasn't ready for this type of conversation. Now I'm gonna back it up a little bit, and give me a second.
In Christ. And if you are in Christ, you are a saint. Because in Christ means you're following Christ. You're living like Christ. That's the one that Yoshiyahu was talking about. Being obedient. Mm-hmm. And Jews and Gentiles were doing that. But now we got GL. He's back. Let's see what he has to say. You there, GL?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
How's everybody doing?
Still good, as far as I can tell.
Good. Yeah, my question is for Ephesians 2 and 12. Let me go to it.
Okay. Were you here earlier when we broke it down?
No, I wasn't. But I've heard other people break it down before. I think when I jumped on, I think you were on verse 14. And okay. I got the American Standard Version, and this is what caused me to look at this verse a little bit differently.
Okay, let me pull this up with you then, so I can be on one accord with you, because I also have the American Standard Version too. Let me get mine.
All right.
I gotta admit though, you're the first person that tried to take it to another translation. Which one? Which verse is it you want?
Verse 12.
Okay. Let me see here. Is it American Standard or New American Standard?
Just the American Standard.
Let me see if I can pull this up right here. Okay, I'm with you.
Okay, and verse 12, Ephesians 2 and 12 says, that ye were at that time separate from Christ, alienated from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenant of the promise, having no hope and without God in the world. So, this is my question to you. With this particular version, it says alienated instead of alien. So it caused me to, kind of dig a little deeper, because I know an ant can't be alienated from a bee. And I know...
What? Hold on. Say that again. A what?
I know an ant, like a carpenter ant, like a carpenter ant can't be alienated from a bee.
Yes, it can, if you know the actual meaning of the word alienated, which I can see you don't.
No, yeah, I mean, I kind of do. You know what I mean? Alienated.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
Okay, this is my understanding of what it means, and in fact, I just go to the interlinear of the blue letter and read what it means, because I got it right here.
But the blue letter, you do know that the blue letter is a translation of the King James. So what word are you looking up in the King James? Because the word alienated is not in the King James.
Right. Well, in the King James, it would be alien.
Okay, so I want to stop here. Let me go to my KJ. Let me go to my Blue Letter app right quick. Okay, the Blue Letter app. You see, there's a parallel version right under Ephesians 2. You got an arrow pointing from east to west, or west to east, and you see a KJV, and you see a ASV online. Okay, so if you see if you look at the ASV, you don't see alienated on the ASV, and so I didn't know that until I just looked it up right now, because during this conversation I had went to the KJV anyways, because I normally use the KJV, but I'm about to take this time to show that the Blue Letter actually does have, different biblical versions, translations. Okay, so when you look at Ephesians 2 and 12, you see that ye were at that time separate from Christ, alienated from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenant of the promise, having no hope and without God in the world. So when I go to the interlinear of the ASV, this is what you see. Okay, as you see right there, it says the ASV, Greek interlinear. So this right here is giving you the Greek interlinear version. And it's saying the table below displays the NASB, B95 text. Okay, and so this is the translation that they used. And when you look down here, you don't see alienated, but you see excluded. But that excluded word is still Greek 526, which is apolotrios. Apolotria.
Strong's G 526. Apolotriao. Apolotriao.
Okay, apolotriao. Apolotriao. All right, so let me go to the KJV and see if we can find that same word. Because at this point, I don't care what the translation is. If you got the same Greek word, it's the same Greek word. You could try to do all that wordplay if you want to, but it's not going to work here, buddy. Let's see here. As you see right here, this is the KJV, which is the table below displays the KJV text. So that right there just showed that, hey, they're showing two different texts. Okay, so let's not play that game. Okay, so you could try to play all these games as you want, but it's not going to work. But let's go and see. We'll deal with the translation later. But, he tried to act like that the word alien means alien, like from a foreign land that never been to this land or never been a part of this nation before. And my point in going to the ASV was to set the premise and give a visual, because sometimes you got to give people a visual for them to be able to understand it. And I think some people in this audience understood it, because, all right, let's just get to it.
Hey, so do you see what you're doing? First, you built an argument off the word alienated by going to the American Standard Version. Now you're referring back to the King James to translate the word alien.
As you see, that word alien, alienated, or excluded is still the Greek word G526, apolatidiao, apolatidiao. So that just shows you that Josh doesn't have a clue in what he's talking about, and he shouldn't be teaching, because that premise alone shows that he thinks that the KJV translation is saying something different, or the translation is different, when they both are using the same word.
Or are you saying that alien and alienated mean the same thing?
Well, I'm about to tell you. Hold on, let me see. Let me find this because
I mean, you can't read it.
See, that's not the patience. See, he's not showing the fruit right now. He wants to say that the word alien and alienated means the same thing, but in the context of this verse, even in the KJV, it doesn't say alien. So why is it translated as alien when you see under the KJV or the ASV that the word is apolatidios, and the breakdown doesn't say alien. It says, okay, we'll get to it. But, this guy, man, he just, I'm trying to figure out what his angle is, because he has such terrible doctrine, and I probably need to go through each one of his points that he broke down that day and just refute them all. I need to go through each and every last one of those, refute them all, and then buy his books and, just dig down into his doctrine and just see where the holes are, not holes, but where the misunderstandings are and the misleading can be. Because if he's going around teaching this, and he's calling himself a teacher now, and he's pretty much saying that the KJV is a different translation. So people listening thinking that those two translations will have two different words, when we just saw for ourselves that they had one word, and that's lazy scholarship. And for somebody to call himself a teacher, this is one X off his accolades that shows that, hey, with what he's trying to argue right now, he doesn't have a clue in what he's talking about.
Say yeah it do or no it don't, because you just came out with an opening. It's like you're trying to learn and teach as you go. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to already have an answer ready.
I said I got the word in front of me.
I mean, I know, but I'm saying either. Let me just run it back to you so you can understand what you're doing. You said I'm gonna go to the American Standard Bible, which I went there with you, and you tried to build off the word alienated. You said a bee can't be alienated from a carpenter ant, right? And I said, yes, it can if you know what the word alienated means, which you clearly don't. You said, yes, you do. I said, what does it mean? Now you're falling back on the blue letter to translate the word alien, which why I asked you, are you saying that alien and alienate?
At the end of the day, they're the same word. This right here shows you the ignorance. Now he's trying to project, and he's trying to use perfect diction to try to make it seem like he is more astute to have this conversation than I am. And right now, those that are listening to this will know the folly of this man's speech. Well, not this man, but of that man's speech.
It mean the same thing, which you must be, because you're looking up the word alien to
And I didn't say that they mean the same thing, even though in this context they do mean the same thing. I said, when he asked me, do alien and alienate mean the same thing, I was like, let me see. And he just pretty much bear false witness and said, and maybe he didn't mean to, maybe he's just so pumped up now because he got challenged with something that he wasn't ready for, because a few minutes before that he was saying, oh, I know all the arguments. So yeah, they can't come at me with anything that I haven't heard before. But clearly He hasn't heard this before because he would not have made these novice or sophomoric mistakes.
Plain alienated.
Well, okay, this is the point I'm trying to make. Since you want to make that stance there, this is the point I'm trying to make. So
It's not a stance. I'm observing what you did.
Wait.
He did make a stance because he's trying to say that I'm saying alienated and alien means the same thing. In the American English, in the English language, those possibly can mean something different. But I'm not talking about the English language. I'm talking about this Greek word. See, he's trying to use English to understand the Greek. And that's what his folly is. He's failing, and he doesn't even know it. In his mind, he's doing a wonderful job, and he has his fans over there. Oh, they're pumping him up and just, putting steam all up in him until he pops. But, I don't even think I got through to him during this conversation. But I think at some point it has, or it will get to him, especially when I start banging these videos on him and beating up that false doctrine, because my profile says that pretty much I'm a false Christian boxer. You know what I mean? So I'm boxing y'all and beating y'all up. So if you got these false doctrines, now you could be a Christian and have solid doctrine because a true Christian is on solid foundation. But as you see, his foundation is rocky. And this right here is showing that his foundation is rocky. Because if he was a Christian, he'd be on solid foundation. And right now, his ground is like sand, quicksand, and it's sinking. Just off of this one word alone, has him just like looking all bad. You know what I mean? For those that know. But for those that don't know, he's looking like a scholar.
Wait, brother, let me just do this right quick. What I did was, I didn't really, well, you did use a King James Version, but I kind of went to the Septuagint because the Greek, the New Testament is Greek. And my way of pretty much fact checking and, using proof text is through the Septuagint. So pretty much what I did was I looked up this same word in the Old Testament to see what I could find. And that word is estranged. And it takes me to Ezekiel 14:5.
Oh, wait a minute.
Objection.
You looked it up where and what? Yes. You looked up the word where, and
Okay,
you didn't give
you
didn't give a source, you didn't give a reference number, and you.
He said I didn't give a source. What? I said I looked up this same word, which in the Septuagint, Ezekiel 14:5. I said that clearly. I said it clearly. In fact, let me see if I can go back, and get this thing right, because he had Stephanie in the background talking about objection. He's like, oh yeah, and the other guy talking about whoa or something he said, and they all see this is what they do. They sidetrack you because they don't want you to talk. They don't. If you come in with something that they're not familiar with, whether it's right or wrong, they don't want you to talk. But what they should have did was they should have let me finish and then put my argument to the test, because I put it out there. I exposed my argument to them, and he just said, whoa, you didn't give a source. What? I thought, I said estranged in Ezekiel 14:5. So let me go back a couple seconds and see, did I not say that? Because if I didn't, then I apologize. Oh yeah, right now we're at 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 8 seconds. So now I'm about to go back a few seconds to see, did I give a source? Or did I say where I was going? Or did I not? Because I'm pretty sure I said the Old Testament, and I use the Septuagint to fact check or to proof check, as a proof test of what I'm researching. And I didn't say of the New Testament, but what I do is I use the Old Testament Septuagint to proof check a word that I'm researching to make sure, I'm not going out of pocket or out of line. And that's what I did. But they wasn't ready for that. And they're like, whoa, where are you going, buddy? We're not ready for this. We're not ready for this conversation. But let me pause this and go back. Hopefully this is far enough.
To see what I could find, and that word is estranged. And it takes me to Ezekiel 14:5.
Oh, wait a minute.
Objection.
You looked it up where and what? Yes. You looked up the word where, and
Okay,
you didn't
the
give
word-
you didn't
the
give
word-
a hold up. You didn't give a source. You didn't give a reference number, and you didn't define any other words.
Okay.
What? I didn't. I mean, I don't mean to be laughing, but to me, this is folly, yo. He said, I didn't give a source. I didn't quote the word. I mean, maybe, I don't know. To me, this is baffling. You know what I mean? Because right now, they're on the ropes. They are on the ropes and don't even. And you have Stephanie. She strategically is the one that try to throw brothers off tilt. She tries to. If you walk in a straight line, she try to just nudge you to throw you off balance. You know what I mean? That's what I call off tilt. She tried to throw me off balance with the objection. And then Josh, this right now is a clear example of him not being ready. He is not ready. He has not rightly divided the word, nor studied thoroughly, even though in his mind he studied thoroughly, but he hasn't studied thoroughly, and anybody that commented hasn't studied thoroughly. And if, like he said, if you're not studied on a subject, then you should just be quiet and learn. And he said that he's willing to learn, and I could go back in this same clubhouse, what is it, message board, or town hall meeting, or whatever you want to call it, and I'm pretty sure I could find him saying that if he doesn't know something, he's willing to learn. But right now, what is he showing? That he is not willing to learn. So now that's another strike against him. He's looking bad. And then he just said, whoa, you didn't. So you can hear the nervousness in his voice. And this is pathetic. You know what I mean? I want to rewind it one more time. Let me see. I might be able to go back 15 seconds. I didn't even notice this right here. All right, let's go.
Let's do the Septuagint. So pretty much what I did was I looked up this same word in the Old Testament to see what I could find, and that word is estranged.
Okay. The word that I found in the Old Testament is estranged. Now, one thing I should have told him, but if he would have listened, if he would have waited, he would have heard me say that same word is apolatriao. If he would have waited, but he didn't wait. He couldn't help it. And what he did was he interrupted me. And that's not a good look.
And it takes me to Ezekiel 14:5.
Okay, that's the source. It's Ezekiel 14:5.
Oh, wait a minute.
Objection.
You looked it up where and what? Yes. You looked up the word where, and
Okay,
you didn't
the word-
give a hold up. You didn't give a source. You didn't.
See, that's the cookie cutter response. You didn't give a source. When you're not really aware of something, you go off of your natural instinct, your natural response. And right here, his natural response was you didn't give a source. You didn't provide enough information. But I think I did, because when I first said that I use the Septuagint, which is a Greek translation, and the New Testament is written in Greek. I use Greek to proof text Greek, and the subject that we're talking about is apolatrios. So that just lets me know that he's not as astute as he thinks, because if he lost track of what we was talking about that fast, then that just lets you know, who's slacking in scholarship.
Give a reference number, and you didn't define any other words.
Okay, he said I didn't give a reference number, and they're not going to let me go there, so I'm going to give a reference number. And the reference number is G526. The Greek word apolatrios. Apolatrios. And I'm going to find that in the Old Testament. Okay? So since he wouldn't let me go there, I'm going there. I am going there. And let me go there. All right, here I am in the Old Testament, which is the source. The source is the Old Testament of the Bible, KJV or ASV. It doesn't matter to me. I'll go to the ASV. In fact, since I'm dealing with the ASV, let's go to the ASV. And the verse reads that I may take the house of Israel in their heart because they are estranged from me through their idols. Oh, so right here, Israel, the house of Israel, that northern kingdom that was no longer a people, is estranged from the Lord because of their hearts and their idols. And when it says estranged, let's go to estranged and see what it says. And y'all gonna say, hey man, can you speak Greek? Because that's the LXX. No, I don't have to speak Greek. All I have to do is look for the same word that I found in the New Testament, which was apolotios, and I found this same word in the Old Testament of Ezekiel 14:5. Okay, so this is 14:5. Oh wow, look what they do. Greek 526. Let's hit it.
Strong's G 526. Apalatriao. Apalatriao.
Okay. And so it's the same word, y'all. It's the same word. Okay? Apalatriao. Apalatriao. Okay, so let's not play these games. You know what? We're about to get real simple here. We're about to break this thing way down because, as you see, apalatriao is right here. But as we see right here, it's the root word. So the word up above it is apalatriao, but it's the inflected. And it's the feminine version, because in the Old Testament, when Israel sinned, is my guess, when Israel was misbehaving, they were looked at as the whore, which is a feminine trait. So when you sin against the Lord, you become a whore. You become effeminate. You become a feminine man, which would be effeminate. You know what I mean? Pretty much. So the only difference is in the New Testament it's the masculine, and in the Old Testament it's in the New Testament it's masculine because those Gentiles have become part of the Commonwealth of Israel. So now they're not looked at as whores. But let's look up this word inflected. So they won't try to argue that I'm making stuff up and I'm just trying to be crafty, as he said. Okay, the word inflected. Change the form of a word to express a particular grammatical function or attribute, typically tense, mood, person, number, case, or gender. So as we know, this gender that is speaking about, the mood has changed because Israel was being disobedient. So the mood wasn't the same as that mood in the New Testament of an obedient Israel. Okay. Part 2, section 2, vary the intonation of pitch of the voice, especially to express mood or feeling. Yeah, because guess what? The Lord wasn't feeling Israel, taking on the idols, So yeah, that would change the mood. Bend or deflect, especially inward. Particles readily inflect, deflect, or jostle one another. All right, so pretty much the mood changed, so that's why you got a different suffix. You know what I mean? Because Israel was wicked which means they had become feminine and they had became whores. All right, so let me go back and hear what these guys got to say. I mean, I want to hear the whole thing, but it's just taking too much time just for this one word, and I haven't even gotten through a whole 2 minutes, I don't think, of this this dialogue before I got cut off a couple times and accused of, not giving sources.
That was given.
Okay,
So back it up.
I'm backing it up. You're right.
Okay, what Greek word is translated alien in the New Testament?
Polytrio, which is Greek 5:26.
And what's the definition?
To alienate. A
Where
strain.
you reading that? Hold on. Where are you reading that from? In the blue letter?
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Please.
Uh-huh.
To alienate.
Mm-hmm.
Strange.
Uh-huh.
To be shut off from fellowship or intimacy. So that's
What's
why
the Strong's definition? What's the Strong's definition? Continue.
And you see what kind of wickedness that they're trying to do. They're trying to say what's the Strong's definition, and I just told them to alienate or estrange, and then they're trying to say that that's not a definition. So let me go back to Strong's. Let's go back to Strong's and prove them wrong, because this point is strong and they are wrong. Okay. When I was reading the outline of the biblical usage. Okay, so they got me there. Okay, I wasn't really reading the definition. That wasn't intentional. I just read to the first thing that had 2 bullet points. Okay, so to alienate, estrange, to be shut out from one's fellowship and intimacy. So we already know that the Gentiles didn't have an intimate relationship with Israel. In fact, they hated Israel. Israel got conquered by all those nations, and everybody hated them and, just despised Israel. So, I don't know how they would say that that's intimate, how they would be alienated if they were intimately involved with Israel. No, the only intimate was bloodshed, unless you call that intimate. But let's go down to the definition. Strong definition. Because when you're strong, when you got a strong point, it's strong, and when you're wrong, you're just wrong. Okay, so apollatrio or apollatrio from the G75, 575, and a derivative of G245. Let's go to G575. Of separation. Well, that's the biblical usage of separation, of local separation, after verbs of motion from a place, for example, of departing or fleeing. Okay, so when you go to apo, that's somebody who fled. When did the Gentiles of the New Testament flee from Israel? Or when did they flee from the Commonwealth of Israel? Or when did they depart? We know the house of Israel departed because they were made to depart when we went to Ezekiel 14 and 5. Okay, part B, of separation of a part from the whole. To say Israel is the whole would be incorrect statement. Noah would be the whole because he was pretty much the father of the New Testament, because he was the patriarch. And then Adam would be the patriarch of the whole. Israel wouldn't be a part of the whole. Israel would be a micro nation. You know what I mean? So very, very small. So they wouldn't be considered as whole. Okay, from where a part whereof a whole some part is taken. Where was Gentiles taken from Israel? We know that the northern kingdom was taken away by the Syrian king. Even Josh brought that out to the brother before I got on when the king of Assyria took the northern kingdom out of the land. Okay, that's the separation. Okay, part C. Of any kind of separation of one thing from another by which the union of fellowship of the two is destroyed. The relationship between the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, that relationship was destroyed. This is getting worse for Josh. He did no studying at all. Okay? D, of a state of separation that is of distance. Physical, of distance of a place. Temporal, we know that the Gentiles weren't physically distant from Israel because they were right there. You know what I mean? We know that the northern kingdom was pretty much taken away far from Israel, from the southern kingdom. Okay? Of origin, of the place whence anything is, comes, befalls, is taken. Of origin, of a cause. So that tells you right there that alpo means that does it for me. Now let's go to G275 and see what that says. All right, just to be clear, the strong 575 apa, which means a primary particle, off, for example, away, from something near, in various senses of place, time, or relation, literal or figurative. X, here, after, ago, at, because of, before, by, the space of, for, forth, from, in, out, of, off, up, upon, once, since, with. Okay, so the way you break this down is you remove the parentheses and commas, and this is how it reads. Away, after, because, from, since, with. So you say away, from, because, since, with. Away, because, since, with. Away, because, since, with. Or away, before, since, with. Away, once, since, with. So there's a lot of different ways you could read that, but you can't be away from something since you were with it unless you were a part of it. So a pa is definitely a personal separation. Excuse me, not G275, but G245. Belonging to another. Okay? Foreign, strange, not of one's own family, alien, and enemy. Okay? And that's the apolatrios. Alatrios. Apolatrios. All right, so this one says something different. Foreign, strange, not of one's family, alien, and enemy. We know that Ephraim was against Israel. We do know that. Okay, not one's own. By extension, foreign, not akin, hostile, alien, another man's men strange. Okay, so now that right there would mean strange. But let's see. Let's read some examples. Matthew 17 and 25. He said yes. And Matthew 17 and 25. He says yes. And when he was coming to the house, Jesus prevented him, saying, "What thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children or of the strangers?" All right. Peter said unto him, "Of strangers." Jesus said unto him, "Then are the children free." Okay. So this is talking about other nations. And if ye have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who shall give you that which is your own? Okay. So that right there, alatrios, does mean strange, of another man's, another family. Okay. But guess what? We don't see that at. We don't see that anywhere in Ephesians. We don't see that. Nope, we really don't. Okay, so now they could use that argument as, ooh, Hebrew 9:25. That's a killer for those. That's a killer. That's a killer for that fake doctrine they come with. Yes. Hebrews 9 and Hebrews 11. Okay, so now they might have a point there with the G245, but let's go back. Let's go back. Okay. So, Alpo is a derivative of this stranger. So, this stranger, 245, is a stranger of another nation. But this Alpo is one that is, the Alpo is one that is personal, intimate. So they're calling them the family enemies, because now that makes sense. The family enemy, because the family turned against them when the two kingdoms broke. So that makes sense. The family's enemy, because they were taken away by another doctrine. So yeah, that makes sense now. So yeah, I mean, this proves their case all against them just by breaking it down like that. But let's read the Strong's definition. To estrange away. How can you be estranged away if you are from a different nation? Like I asked Josh, I was like, can I be estranged from your wife? And I forgot what his answer was. I'm going to be curious to hear what his answer is. If he says yes, then now you know that he's a liar, because there's no way I could be estranged from his wife. Okay? Passively and figuratively. To be non-participant. Alienate. Be alien. Okay? So you could be an alien of a family. Yeah. I could be an alien in my family. I could be alien in my family, because if we don't rock with the same stuff, I'm an alien. I'm alienated. Some people says we're not the same. I'm a Martian. You know what I mean? Because they're saying that they're totally different than you. But guess what? They are of you. So my thing is, this right here just shows you how these Christians can be tricky, slippery, and they can try to throw you off your square. And I haven't done this in a couple years. You know, I haven't really debated or had discussions like these in a while, because I'm trying to move to a different space. I'm trying to get out of the debating. Well, not debating, but, you know, these heated discussions, and just, you know, have an honest dialogue. And these brothers didn't want to have an honest dialogue. Well, let's get back to it.
Okay, hold up, Dre.
Okay, now we're 5 minutes in, almost 6 minutes into this conversation, and to me, it's gotten so far out of hand to where I got in my spirit, he got in his spirit, and, you know, now it's becoming unprofitable. But I still wanted to stick around there and prove my point until I got kicked off the stage.
Of that. So let me ask you a question. Who did that apply to first?
It applied to, pretty much it applies to anybody who has a relationship with somebody, like a black sheep of a family. They're a part of
No. I'm not asking in general. I'm talking from a biblical standpoint of view. Who were estranged from the children of Israel first, from the Commonwealth of Israel? Who was born into this world estranged from the Commonwealth of Israel?
See, that's not the kind of question. Yes,
it is, because you saying you gave the correct. I don't have a problem with your definitions. What I'm asking you is, who?
Now do you see how he's trying to paint a picture? So now he's trying to be crafty because he know if he says who this verse is talking about, I'm gonna say Israel. So he's trying to say who in the beginning was estranged from the beginning. Come on, that's what kind of question is that? Because nobody had to really be estranged. All they had to do is follow Israel, and then they would have been a part of the covenant. So to me, that's like one of those bonehead questions, to where you're not Jesus, and you're not going to be able to get me to answer this stupid trivial question either. Because Jesus didn't answer those stupid trivial questions, and I'm not about to answer these stupid trivial questions that are out of context. That right there is out of context because he doesn't know what the definition actually means, the biblical definition. Not the world definition, but the biblical definition.
Was already astray. What you're doing is you're taking a people who at one point became cut off in a sense, and you're overlooking a people who were already born cut off and estranged.
That's like saying a black sheep is born a black sheep. It's not.
That's like saying a goat. That's like saying a goat was born not part of a sheep family. So which one is more estranged? A black sheep who were born among actual sheep and end up getting cut off, or a goat who was never a sheep in the first place? Which one's more estranged?
I would say the goat, but what I'm talking about is the black sheep.
Nah, he did get me with that one because, Zadok said that, but we're not trying to win a debate. What we're trying to do is get to the truth here. And the truth is a freaking goat is a part of the same family, but a sheep is not a goat. We could say, hey, we're closely tied to a chimpanzee and a monkey. You know what I mean? Whichever one we're more what we resemble. We could say that, we're pretty much made up the same as a dolphin. You know what I mean? So come on, man, let's not use these bonehead arguments. You know what I'm saying? That right there to me was a bonehead argument, and I'm not talking about a goat. I'm talking about people, and I'm talking about families. You know what I mean? But you can be a black sheep of a family. I'm talking about intimacy. That goat doesn't have an intimate relationship with the sheep family because that goat didn't come from the loins of the sheep. So come on, man. So let's not play these wicked games. And that's also called a logical fallacy, because that's like saying a goat and a sheep are in the same family. You know what I mean? But the more accurate equivalency would be a black sheep against a blonde sheep, or a blonde sheep against a brunette sheep. That would be a more equivalency. But when you talk about pretty much, that's like saying, hey, a cat and a tiger, they're in the same family, they'll be alienated. Not really, because a cat is going to get eaten by a lion. They don't even look at each other as the same species. And you pretty much, I'm not sure if a cat would even be able to mate with a tiger or a lion. But we also know that Israel made, pretty much had biracial, well, not biracial, but they had children by the Canaanites and other nations. So I'm not sure a sheep is gonna mess with a goat. I'm not sure a cat will mess with a lion. You got to talk about two separate things. I mean, two of the same things, and leave those logical fallacies out of the equation. Because when you come with a logical fallacy, then it makes you appear smart to those that are not aware of what fallacies are. But yeah, that's not gonna work either, Josh. And see, that's how logical fallacies do you. You know what I mean? You could get caught slipping on a logical fallacy. What does a black sheep have to do with actually what I was talking about? I was talking about a black sheep in a family. And this brother acting like he just clueless, don't even know what a black sheep is. A black sheep is like, say, a crackhead uncle. He would be considered a black sheep. A black sheep would be one of the family members, and I'm talking figuratively, not literally. So come on, man, let's not play these games. So if if the family practices Christmases every year and the black sheep is standoffish all the time against it, then guess what? The black sheep is going to be alienated from the family. And, I just wanted to talk, and I shouldn't even fell into that because that was a logical fallacy and that was pretty much off topic. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was talking about a black sheep, I wasn't talking about a literal sheep. So I should have brought them back, and that's what I'm saying. That's what they do. They want to kind of divert, and that right there was the crafty of it all. That was the craftiest of it all, because he knew I was talking about a family member of a human family. He has a black sheep in his family. For all I know, he might be the black sheep in his family. I don't know, but I'm talking about people. He want to divert that because the conversation is about people. So I don't know why he wanted to talk about animals, and that was a good ploy. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm doing this response video, because they're so crafty and cunning that, they'll get you off track. But, my thing is, if he tries it again, I'll make sure that I call out all those logical fallacies. You know what I mean? That way he won't be able to do that mystical magic, abracadabra, jump in and out of conversations like, Mortal Kombat or something. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep him right there. I'm going to hold his little slick behind right there. You know what I mean? That's slick. That's slickery. He come with that slickery dickory dock stuff. That little elementary, play school doctrine. We don't play that game. Not around here.
Family.
But now what we're talking, so in Ephesians, what we're trying to figure out is if we're talking about the black sheep or the goat. That's all we're trying to do.
We're talking about the black sheep. Yes, the black sheep.
Now, from based on Ephesians, right? When you look up the word alienated, all that word means is you had no part. There is nothing in that word that is indicative in of itself that means you were once a part of something and separated from it.
That's why I'm saying he doesn't know the Greek word. He's using the American and really alienate. When people use the term alienate, they mean people that were a part of something. And in fact, let me go to the Oxford Dictionary, and because now since he wants to get like that, we're about to break it down real simple, like and make you look real dumb. All right, I'm at the Oxford Dictionary, and I don't see anything about having no part. And plus, the Northern Kingdom had no part because they were cut off. So you could be cut off and have no part. But he's trying to say that never had a part. And you can't show me that definition. And even if you do, we're about to get real simple with this word alienated. Experiencing or inducing feelings of isolation or estrangement. When did Gentiles feel isolated or have a feeling of isolation from Israel? Show me that. When has any nation felt isolated during these days from Israel? Most nations, a lot of those nations probably didn't even know who Israel were. So who felt isolated from Israel? This is a bonehead doctrine. It's a bonehead argument. You sound stupid and ignorant, and you want to go around calling everybody else ignorant, and you sound the most ignorant right now. And now we're about to do some wordplay since you want to do wordplay, and I'll beat you to the wordplay because y'all try to play words with the sheep and the goat. So now let's play with the words and see what they really mean. Okay, enough of the wordplay. All right, alienate. Here's the synonyms for alienate. Disaffect. To divide. Can you divide something that's not apart? You can't divide a cookie or split a cookie in half if that cookie wasn't together in the first place. Estrange. A man can't be estranged from his wife if he never was married to her. If he never had a relationship. A man can't be estranged from his wife because guess what? She would never be his wife. A man couldn't have an estranged son if the son was never his. You can't be separate from something you was never a part of. Like, I can't be separate from an Aryan nation or Arabian nation, because we aren't the same. We don't believe in the same stuff. We're not of the same family. We have no genetic tie. We don't have any close blood ties or likely no genetic ties anyways. Very little, if few, way back there probably. You know what I mean? We have no one. We don't want to be a part of. I don't want to be a part of the Aryan nation, so I don't feel estranged from it. I don't feel divided from it, because I was never a part to be divided from. With division, you take a whole number and you divide from that number. Okay, or you could take fractions and divide from that. But guess what? You're starting together, and then you divide. Okay, to turn off. If you how can you turn off if you were never on? You can't turn the TV off if it was never on. You can't disunite something that was never united. You can't divorce something you were never married to. You can't part from something you were never a part of. Boom. Cut these games out, yo.
The black sheep in the family.
But that's not what we're talking. So in Ephesians, what we're trying to figure out is if we're talking about the black sheep or the goat. That's all we're trying to do.
We're talking about the black sheep. Yes, the black sheep.
Now, from based on Ephesians, right? When you look up the word alienated, all that word means is you had no part.
Okay, we just looked it up in the Oxford Dictionary. We looked it up in the Strong's Dictionary. I don't know where he got that from. In fact, let me go back. But, we saw no part of that. I even went to the synonyms and showed that this dude doesn't have a clue in what he's talking about. So I'm gonna go to the I'm gonna go back and we're gonna break this thing up again and see if it says no part of. Because if this not there, he got to show where he got that from. And if he can't show it, then that means he made it up. And if he made it up, then either he didn't know what the word meant and he lied and said he knew what it meant, or he's coming with doctrine. And look, I don't even have to go far. Apolatrios.
Strong's G 526. Apolatriao. Apolatriao.
All right, let's go to the Thayer's Greek lexicon. Okay, let's see, apolatriao. It's a perfect passive particle, to alienate, estrange, to be rendered, to be shut off from one's fellowship and intimacy. And then when you go down to Colossians 1:21, equivalent to use of those who have estranged themselves from God. And who estranged themselves from God? Israel. All right. My soul is among lions, and I lie even among them that are set on fire, even the sons of men whose teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongues a sharp sword. All right. So let me see. Let me go to Isaiah 1:5. Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward. So that's giving you the same context. Oh wow, right here, Ezekiel 14:5, and this is in the Thayers. Look right here. That I may take the house of Israel in their own heart, because they are all estranged from me through their idols. So pretty much this is letting you know what that word is talking about. And this is giving you the proof text for Ephesians 2:11. So, I mean, I could go on and just keep beating him up. But, I'm a spare the brother and just say he's ignorantly teaching and he needs to be taught properly. And he needs to stop trying to say he's getting paid off of being a teacher, because all I saw was like 35 to 50 people in that room. And if that's who you're getting paid off of, brother, they better have some heavy pockets. That's all I'm trying to say. And even if your videos have 1,000 members, those 1,000 members, they better be paying you. But I'm going to leave that there because, we had a few words, after the, I sent him a message because, I felt like he was misrepresenting me, but I'm not going to get into it. If y'all want to see it, you go to the video. The video was like at the end of May. It was like a 5-hour town hall meeting on a Thursday. So look at the last Thursday of May 2022 on Clubhouse, Absolute Bible Truth. I think I came on there, the timestamp is in this video. I think I came on around 2 hours and 21 minutes or 2 hours and 20 minutes, something like that. You can see it. And just, I want to hear people's thoughts. Y'all listen and y'all quiet, y'all don't want to respond. But respond. Be bold like lions. Let me know if I was wrong and show me why the Thayer's Greek lexicon is pretty much using Ezekiel 14:5 as the same word, while apolatrios means estrange and to alienate, and why Ezekiel 14:5 and 7 are pretty much using Israel as that nation that was cut off, and why that same word is being used in Ephesians 2:12. And we know that Paul was a scholar of the law, so it would be fitting for him to confuse the Gentiles. He would confuse the Gentiles that didn't know. I mean, come on, brothers. It's not hard. So, I want to hear some thoughts, If y'all feel, up to it. If you don't, then, I just take that as, Brother Josh, he just doesn't have a clue on what he's talking about. And, y'all brothers pray for him that he come out of that reprobate doctrine, you know what I mean, and stop being strongly deluded under a strong delusion, I mean, hey, I think this thing has been thoroughly refuted and debunked. And I didn't hear anything from him other than opinions, feelings, and conjecture. I didn't hear any scholarly refutations, and I suggest y'all listen to that. I mean, it's already going on close to an hour, so I don't want to just keep this video going because I think I did enough of pretty much disproving his point and stance. So if y'all could show me where he thoroughly refuted me with scripture, because the scripture should back up scripture. I back my scripture up with Ezekiel 14:5 and 7, and I want him to use that same word, apolatrios. Well, it's gonna be hard for him to use apolatrios because I can run right back to the Old Testament, but he could do it if it's there. And I don't want your opinions, Josh. I don't want to hear a story about a man named Jed, Josh. I don't want to hear any of that. I want to see a scholastic refutation to convict me and prick me and show me that I was wrong. With that being said, Israel, peace and blessings. Shalom.